Okay, today's video, we're going to talk about whether you should use audiences or keywords in your YouTube ad campaigns that you're trying to run for your company to make money. I'm going to go over what are basically the pros and cons with each one of these. In short, it's the keyword targeting that's in general going to be more profitable for you, but I'll explain why that is. There are some instances where you could still make money with audience targeting, using custom audiences, in-market audiences, and that kind of thing to make money with YouTube ads. And so with that, of course, that is the general overview of what is better to do with YouTube if you're trying to make money with it. But I'll get into the specific details where, of course, the rest of the money can be made, so to say. And even with the information at hand, you still need a good strategy to go with it. I'm going to give you some actual strategies that you can use to make money with YouTube ads based upon campaigns that we're running already in YouTube and that are making money. And of course, of which are making a return, a sizable return, over 800+%, and which is also going to be included in this video as well. So with that said, we'll get right into the content. So Google Ads recently made some changes where it's far harder to target a single video on YouTube or channel, which is quite disappointing. It's not impossible to target an individual video or individual channel, which, by the way, was my absolute favorite all-time strategy, because obviously the money, as I mentioned on this channel over and over again, is in the targeting and being able to narrow your targeting down to that perfect person to sell to, and then doing that over and over and over again and building up a big list of targeting placements. That'll work. And that can be done on Google Display Network by finding individual web pages to have your ad show up on, certain web pages on certain websites, which you can still do. But on YouTube, Google is basically slowly phasing it out a little bit at a time to where you can't just target an individual video, where you can find one individual video that says, how do you actually buy, insert the name of your product, and that is like, your product solves that, obviously, that person's problem for right then and right there, and you can have it show up during that video. You technically can still do that, but you have to do it in a roundabout way, and it's less precise. So, we have to do, other than just being able to make things easy for us, in other words, on YouTube, just targeting an individual video or channel that would have made it easy to target the exact buyers that would buy our product or service, we got to get fancier. We got to get into keyword targeting or audience targeting, with keyword targeting being the better one in general for most people, particularly beginners, but which I'll get into. But with that, anyway, since Google started phasing out being able to target an individual video or channel with your YouTube ads, you have to either basically do targeting by using keywords, as I mentioned, which actually works rather well. So that could be certainly, YouTube is basically a search engine. And so with that, you should be thinking about what are the searches people make on YouTube to find stuff that make them good candidates for your product or service, to have your ads run in front of them. And then essentially what I would do is, from those searches, I would make the search, find the videos that are under that search result, then of course see if that's those videos mainly there, you could see yourself, or you could see your presumed prospects buying your product or services if you show up on those type of videos. And then of which you can target those keywords that would then get you in front of people who are basically watching videos on that same topic and would be ultimately on the search results for that particular keyword on YouTube, which is a way to think about it that not a lot of people think about as it comes to keyword targeting on YouTube. They think they're only thinking about, well, is the video about this topic or not? But really it's, yes, that, but also what's going to show up for a certain keyword in the search results in terms of the videos listed under a certain search results by a certain keyword. Also, of course, you also have audience targeting, which is still going to get you in front of the people that you want on YouTube. It's just going to be less basically useful to you, mainly because if somebody with the audience targeting, you're no longer getting somebody with the keywords, how to buy granite countertops. If you're selling granite countertops, you can target the keyword how to buy granite countertops and get people that have searched for that and then are going through the list of videos on YouTube on how to buy granite countertops to find the information that they want so that they can probably, hopefully, eventually buy some granite countertops. If you want to target somebody who's in market for granite countertops, but then, you know, they're actually watching a video about knitting, the conversion rate you're going to get targeting that person that's watching a video about knitting, even though that they were, you know, on YouTube searching for how to actually buy granite countertops earlier in that day or another, you know, last week or whatever, the conversion rate and the ROI of, you know, your video targeting that same exact person who made that same exact search before is going to be less having it show up for somebody who's not actually interested in that topic at that exact time, which is the obvious kind of thing that people should know, but for some people it's not obvious. It's the equivalent of, you know, Google search, people are interested in your product, and then doing Google display advertising, which for the most part is where you show up, you know, where somebody's recently searched for something on Google in the past, but then you can target them with a banner ad once they go to another website later on. The ROI potential is going to be massively different when you compare apples to apples in terms of your pitch and your product and all that. Targeting the person who wants the information at that exact time versus did want it, but it's been now a day or two later. And the closer, of course, in terms of the time that that person wants that information to the time that they see your ad, the better the ROI is going to be. So therefore with that, that's why audience targeting is going to be far less productive for you than the keyword targeting, which gets you in front of the right person at the right time versus instead of just the right person who's done the right things that make him a good candidate in the past or have certain traits that make him a good candidate for you, for your product or service, okay? So that's the first thing to get out of the way here. Now, I mentioned that I'll get in on this video about certain strategies, so more than just keywords or audiences, I'm going to put in a frame of reference how to use these keywords and audiences to actually make money with your ads. As you know, that's what I do on this channel, is give you the working strategies that we find that work at our agency and that you need to be able to make money. We're not about just giving you really basic advice on how to click the buttons inside Google Ads. You can find that crappy information elsewhere. So anyway, my favorite YouTube campaign still to this day that make the most money, other than knowing that you can't target individual videos and channels now, which you still can do, by the way, it's just you get way less reach most of the time. Second best thing, assuming you can't target individual videos or channels, are to do these, what I just call competitor campaigns, where you're basically going to make a list of all your competitors, put them in a spreadsheet. If you sell products, not services, you're going to list all their individual products that they sell that are directly competing with products that you sell. And you're going to make a YouTube campaign, and you're going to make separate ad groups for each competitor. And then going further, if you're selling products, each individual product of your competitors will have their own ad group. And then you're going to and with that, you're going to make custom videos for each of the ad groups that you have, which target, each competitor that's unique or each competitor's product that's unique, so that you can drive traffic to your site from people who are actively researching and checking out information about your competitor's solutions that are directly comparable and directly competing with yours. In that, if you're going to sell to somebody, why don't you sell to somebody who is already, your competitor has spent all their money trying to educate the consumer about, all the things you need to know to buy, and why not just slip in at the last second with that person, say you're actually just a little bit better than them, and then steal the sale from them at the last second. That situation puts you in position to get a higher ROI because you don't have to do all the heavy lifting of advertising to the general public. Some people are never going to buy, some aren't, but the people already researching your competitor solutions, as a whole, percentage-wise, that audience is going to buy at a higher rate as well than the general public that you would have to advertise to, that aren't looking at specific products already or specific companies. And you'll make a really good ROI then, therefore, because they're already pre-educated and they're statistically more likely to buy than an audience that's not looking at a specific competitor or product yet. And so with that, you pair, and with that you would use keyword targeting, not audience targeting for that, for the most part. So all of your competitors' names, trade names, product names, all that, those are your keywords that you target inside each one of your individual ad groups. So if you're targeting a competitor by name, then you would find all the trade name, company name, legal name, all that, put those as keywords into your ad group for your targeting itself. If you're talking about a product company and you're targeting an individual competitor's product, the name of the product would be your keyword. And then so with that, I mentioned if you can, you want the absolutely fantastic results here, just crush it. You make custom videos for each one of your directly competitors' products, your competitors' products that directly compete with you, and buy product. So you can say why your product is better than that competitor's product in your video, so that they have a reason while they're watching that competitor's video, demo video, whatever it is, or review or whatever it is, they have a reason to stop what they're doing, click on your ad, and go to your site and check out your solution. And just in general, pay attention to your ad. So, and this is the same thing that I do on Google search. We make a list of all our clients' competitors. We write down in a spreadsheet what's better about us than that competitor, or if we're talking about an e-commerce company, what's good about that, our product that is the most directly comparable to that competitor's product, and then put that into the ad. So if you're Googling for, tailor-made, drivers, and we're Callaway, which is a competing brand that sells golf drivers, we're going to say Callaway is actually cheaper and statistically hits the ball further. So that when they are searching for that, Google and for that tailor-made driver, instead of just going to TaylorMade and do what they were going to do, we actually got enough of a relevant ad there to actually capture that user's attention in that slight split-second moment that we have that they're looking at our ad and realizing that it's not TaylorMade, to actually get their attention and stop what they're doing. That's exactly what we're doing with this YouTube video campaign. We're getting a video out there so that it's just the video equivalent of the same thing. If there's a TaylorMade video there that goes over, even somebody could have reviewed the TaylorMade driver. They're watching that because they're considering whether or not they want to buy that driver. We have our video show up for that person, as well as other videos on TaylorMade that says why Callaway is better, to get them to drive that traffic to our site, that sweet, sweet traffic of our competitors' audience that are already almost considering and almost buying their product. So anyway, if you're going to do anything on YouTube, this would be what I would start out with typically. You're not going to get any better than a competing campaign that targets all your competitors using keyword targeting, and for sure break out separate ad groups for each competitor and each product type if you're a product company. And then of course it works because it's so targeted. Generally speaking, you can still make money if you just have have one video for all of these different competitors show up for people, but it makes a ton more money if you make custom videos saying why you're better for each individual competitor. And so you can template it out and do that, but that'll basically generally always work to make you money. If you're trying to expand what you're doing on Google search or Facebook, that's what you want to do first. Beyond that, audience targeting can actually be helpful though. I.e. targeting people that have done something in the past that makes them a good candidate, but they're just on YouTube watching cat videos or whatever. You can get in front of them. You could still make money. You just have to be a bit more craftier, since it's not, your chances of getting in front of a person who's qualified to want to take action at that right specific time is obviously much lower. It takes a better pitch and all that to just get that person to act at that time when they're not watching or looking for information related to your topic or niche already. So with audience targeting, when that comes in handy is when people don't know specifically that your solution exists yet. Otherwise, basically keyword targeting is what you want. So if somebody already, you sell granite countertops, people already know that's what that is. It's not a new technology. It's not a new solution. You're best off going after people who are looking for a competitor's company, looking for videos on how to buy granite countertops. If you sell a brand new technology that nobody's seen before, or you are starting a brand new service that improves on everything else that's out there, then in that situation, audience targeting can actually be really good, or ultimately work really well. And so, because obviously they're not searching for it on YouTube, you got to get in front of them and make them want it. And that's where the audience targeting really generally comes in, because keyword targeting is getting in front of the right person at the right time when they're searching for information about your niche is so much superior than getting in front of a person who is just on YouTube in general. If they are not ever searching for anything in your niche, you have no choice. But sometimes, ultimately, you can get audience targeting to work in a niche where the keyword targeting worked already, and you'll actually use both. And I talked about the granite countertop space already in this video. That was one space where we actually did both. We did keyword targeting and audience level targeting. And so with that, going back to what I was talking about before, when I was talking about this granite countertop situation, we had a granite countertop installation company, and then they were doing, typically, you'd still, if you're thinking about it, YouTube ads and you haven't done Google search ads, and you're in a niche that's well established, it's not a new solution, you're generally going to be able to make money more reliably, quicker, better on Google search, out competing people in your space by ad click-through rates and then conversion rates on your landing page, which will make the ad space always pay off. And then you start dipping your toes into the YouTube ads. With that said, you can make money, similar money as you're doing to Google search in a lot of different markets. As long as you put enough time into it, not just do what the typical person's going to do, similar to what they do on Google search, and spend 15 minutes thinking about how to do a YouTube campaign, because it takes some finessing to get it to work. You need to be able to target really well, and you got to generally have a good offer to go along with it. So in this situation, though, in the granite countertop installation space, we did two things in terms of the keyword targeting to give you an example of how this works or should work in your niche. As long as you're not selling like a new technology here, keyword targeting. Specifically, we targeted people looking how to buy granite countertop installation, and the like. So basically, people looking how to find a good company to hire, that kind of thing. We had those variants of keywords that we targeted itself, and with that, we had a video that would explain. And of course, just to add in here, geographically, of course on YouTube, a lot of people don't know this or think about this, but you could target just your city or just your neighborhood or whatever if you're a local business. So we targeted, just that city. And then on top of that, it was in Phoenix. On top of that, we can target somebody looking for how to hire the right company. And of course, in our local market, somebody searching for that, we want those people. Similar how you would want them on, Google search, and do something similar to what we're doing here on Google search to try to get that opportunity, because there's only so many opportunities in our local market. We would want them all. But we have a video that says that we're offering a special promo for the month of March, that we're offering 10% off, or you could do something else if you wanted to offer more. Typically, if you offer 20%, it's going to work significantly better. Depends on the margins in your business, obviously, and all that, what you can do and how you can do it. But 10% off this month, and it's for just the March special. Sorry, St. Patrick's Day. So we did this every month. Every month we would run this essentially the same promotion, but because we are mentioning March and we're mentioning St. Patrick's Day, it gets people's attention, and good. So with that said, we're pitching to the person that we know is going to probably buy a granite countertop, and we're giving them something. We have a good offer to offer to them, because if we just say we're a great company, we have great reviews, that's great and everything, but it's not going to compel the user to take action right now. You want the ad to compel the user to take action immediately. Otherwise, you're not going to generally get enough return to make it worth your while. Sometimes, obviously, you can advertise that you're a great company, and then that'll obviously will increase the amount of people that eventually come to you versus the other guys in your space. But ideally, you want to offer them to do one specific thing to get their attention, and from that individual offer, we drive them to a landing page that offers that 10% coupon, and that they just have to enter their email address in there to get it, and they'll get it. And then you of course have their email address, and then the email is sent to them, they get it, and now we have them on our email list ultimately, and we can keep emailing them until they buy, essentially. And that was essentially what the funnel was there. So in that space, we wanted to capitalize on all those opportunities where they're looking on how to buy a good vendor, that kind of thing. On top of that, in terms of the keyword targeting that we did that made money, we targeted all the competitors, going back to up here what I was talking about the competitor campaigns. We found every single competitor in the local market, and then any of those people's channels. Of course, going back to what I said before, you can't target an individual channel, but what you can do is have an ad group that targets all the different variants of how you type in your competitor's business name, trade name, legal name, all that stuff, so that if in effect we're working around the fact that we can't target an individual channel by having the keyword set up in an ad group and have all the competitor variants we can find and research there, we can actually then basically blanket all of our competitors' videos on their channel. But not only that, other reviews that people gave that company, video reviews, also on those videos as well, which is fantastic. A lot of people don't realize that, you can actually get on your other people's reviews of your competitor, which is obviously fantastic. And we also did that as well, okay? And so respectively with that, we had over 1,000% ROI having something that's time relevant and gives them a specific pitch or offer, in which the cost of having a video ad show in this market, in this niche, is about a penny or two a view. So for somebody who's most likely going to get a new granite countertop in the market in the local or near future is very, very high. Where it costs a penny to have a video ad with a really good targeted pitch like that on it, there's no surprise that you can get really good returns on your campaign like that. So that would be the type of thing that I would do in your market to set up a basic YouTube campaign that's going to work, starting with the keyword targeting and getting into that and making it work. As far as, and just as a side here, I've talked about in other videos on this channel about different stuff that works when you can target individual videos. One other thing that you've got to also do is target, going back to what I was saying a minute ago, that you can target people that review your competitor, people that have reviewed your company. You want your video ads to show up on those people's reviews. So, and you can do that with a brand video campaign that targets all your brand keywords, just like you targeted your competitors' keywords. So while you're at targeting all your competitors' keywords, target all your own videos. Of course, you're going to show up on your own videos, which kind of sucks. But for the most part, and maybe you don't even have a channel that's worth a damn or has basically any videos on it, so that wouldn't hurt you anyway. But then you get on all those videos. So if you just check on YouTube, if anybody's reviewed your stuff, obviously you want to be having your ads on there, but you would also want to do a similar pitch. You want to have an offer, $50 off your, this month only for, Valentine's Day. Or, specifically bring in your old one this month only, and we'll give you your new one for, you'll get 2 for 1. Or you have to come up with something spicy for the user to actually give a damn about what they just saw or are seeing. But that's the general formula of what you would want to do to put together a YouTube campaign that actually works, specifically with the keyword targeting. But like I said before, sometimes you can use both keyword and audience targeting and make money in your niche. Audience targeting, like I said, is going to be way, way harder to get to work, because when your video doesn't show up for somebody who's researching that thing at that time, the conversion rates are automatically less no matter what. And so what you generally have to do with that is you generally got to have a good offer or better offer, or just say at least good offer. But you also then have to target, your targeting has to be really refined, okay, to go along with it. You can't just, going with my example here with the granite countertops, in our local market in Phoenix, we can't just target everybody looking for granite countertop information on YouTube, because a lot of those people are just, they're not ready to buy soon. A lot of these people are not going to buy at all. They're just wondering what it looks like, that kind of thing. And some niches, of course, if they're looking at anything in your niche, they're going to buy, and then that's great. You can just target everybody. But in most niches, there's a whole plethora of different people who are looking for information about your niche, and you have to really get into, and tap into the people that have the profile that, matches most of your best buyers, to be able to make the audience targeting work. So that when you take the hit of, of course, or the premium of what it costs to get someone's attention when they're not looking for anything about you or your niche already, that you can overcome that with because who you're targeting is just so refined that the ROI is still there for you at the end of the day. And to give an example of how this basically works is in this particular granite countertop installation space, after interviewing the client, and we did the same thing on Google Display Network, we found out the people that are most likely to buy in the near future, which you need to do the same thing for your own market to make this work. You need to find out who is the most likely people and best people to target based upon their behavior, their demographics, and so forth. In this particular market, we knew that the person that's the most likely to buy a granite countertop itself is somebody, and also spends the most money as well, generally speaking, is somebody who's going to get granite countertops installed in a house that they're looking forward to moving into. They'll have granite countertop in their house now. They're moving into a house, it doesn't have granite. They really, want granite, but they like the house, and they just decided, oh, well, we're just going to get granite installed in our new house. So what you can do with the custom, you can do combined audiences in Google Ads, so that you can target people that have several traits all matching, and when all those traits line up, that a person has all those traits, that they can see your video ad, and when they don't, which makes it to where your audience ads can work, because you can narrow down far enough to you get to an audience that's just so likely to purchase that the math actually then starts to work. So in this case, people that are moving in to a house to get granite countertop installed, those people, if you could, in other words, collect a group of people who are looking to move into a house and get a granite countertop installed, if you could collect a group of people like that and just cold call them and knew that you would make money, then you can make money with your video ads, in other words, with the audience targeting. And what we actually did here was to give you an example of how precise this targeting can get with combined audiences inside Google Ads, or combined segments if you want to get technical. We targeted, first of all, new movers, which you can do through Google Ads. That was the first requirement for them to have seen our video ads for this second audience-based campaign. They had to be moving soon. They had to also be looking at houses, because if you're moving, that doesn't mean you're moving into a house. And if you're not going to move into a house, you're not going to get granite countertops, which cuts out a lot of the waste. Your job is to narrow down enough so that all the waste is basically gone, or you've eliminated enough of the waste that whatever it costs to get in front of these people, it just becomes worth it. But that was the second thing. So they're moving, they're looking at houses, which means they're going to looking at a house. They're basically planning to move into a house specifically, and they previously searched on Google for granite countertops and installation. So specifically with that, you can actually then put it all together here. A person that's been looking for granite countertop installation on Google, because we created a custom audience for, created a custom intent segment where we put a bunch of keywords related to granite countertop installation, granite countertop contractors, granite countertop services. So basically, when Google sees somebody who's searched for in Google in the recent 30 days or so, somebody looking for a granite countertop installation company, which means they're obviously in market to buy a granite countertop, we could actually target them, but we also didn't target them until they were also, where we knew that they were looking to move soon, which means they're looking to, they're statistically even more statistically higher, or statistically more likely, to buy. And of course, adding them looking at houses is to narrow it down even further. The campaign ended up working very, very well. Of course, the average person would think, well, if they were looking for a granite countertop on Google, that in itself is pretty targeted, and it is. But you may try that and that may not work. And then you may have to think, how else can I narrow down my audience? But like I said, a person when they're on Google and they're looking for a contractor, that's money. But when they're not looking anymore and they're watching cat videos, which is what our audience targeting is, we generally speaking aren't going to get it to work just knowing that the person searched for something in our niche already, because they're not motivated to look at what we have for sale right then and there. So we have to get more precise, and that was the case here. We had to get to where we knew that they were moving soon, because we knew the people that are moving soon are going to be buying. They were looking to buy granite countertops, and they're looking to move, and they're looking at houses. That person is going to be buying almost no matter what at that point. And they're looking to spend good money. And so if we have to spend some money to stay in front of them for the next 30 to 60 days until they actually move in and hire the contractor, that's what we're going to do. So looking at, and obviously having asked that company, that client that we were working with, what is your best customer? Who's the customer who's most likely to purchase without doubt and spends basically the most money, and that's somebody who is getting it installed in a new house that they're about to move into. Took that information, combined it with Google's data that they let us tap into about who searched for a local installation contractor recently, and we now have something so targeted enough that the campaign can be profitable for us. So, like I said, video views on Google, most niches are only going to be about a penny each or 2 pennies each. In some niches, it certainly is more. If it's you're doing personal injury law, it's a different story, because obviously it's a lot more competitive, and more competition drives the cost per view up. But when it costs a penny and you can get in front of an audience that's that targeted to where they must be this and must be this and have searched for something in my niche already for sale in the recent 30 days or so, you can generally get that to work as well. You just have to figure out who's that perfect buyer who basically buys every time in your niche, and then target them with your audience ads. And even though they're looking at cat videos when they see your video, and they aren't going to probably buy the first time, no matter how good your offer is and how good your targeting is there, you stay with them for the next, like I said, 30 to 60 days while they're still in market for what you have to buy, because one part of what you're targeting I recommend you have still is always them proving that they're in market for what you have to buy, and then combining that with another 1 or 2 different filtering objects, or filtering it 1 or 2 different ways. Basically, you will have something that's going to work. Basically it's refined enough to work so that we're going to have that ad show up to them for each person 20 or 30 times over the next 60 days while they're deciding who they're going to do business with. And even though it costs us 20 or 30 cents to market to each person, the likelihood that that person is going to buy from somebody is like 1% or greater. The math works out to where we can get a good return there. Generally speaking, the golden rule is with video and any other display advertising, if you could target a group of people that 1% of which is either going to buy from you or buy from a competitor, the cost to advertise to that group of people is going to be profitable. It's going to be worth it. It'll be profitable for you to do that. So your goal is always to narrow down the targeting enough until you get there. And so that is what we have here. 1% of those people obviously are going to be buying from us. So it's refined enough, even if we have to show the ads to them a few times before they ever decide. We know that group of people is going to buy at such a high rate that of course we want to spend 20 or 30 cents marketing to each one of those people, because at that point it's obvious it's going to be profitable and it's going to work at that point. So that's an example of where audience targeting specifically can and would work to get, in conjunction with your keyword targeting. Obviously, in some spaces or niches or companies, you're going to have audience targeting because there is no people searching for information in your niches, really. And audience targeting is all you got. Even though this targeting was as good as it was, targeting, we knew the exact profile of the most sure buyer, and we made sure that they were searching for that individual service recently on Google. We still only got a 700% or between a 700 and 800% basically ROI from that audience campaign I just described to you, versus people that were looking for a competitor's video or looking how to buy granite. We were over 1,000% ROI, specifically because they were looking for that information at that time. So when they saw our video ad, they were more likely to respond to it at that time than they were if they were watching a cat video itself. So that's, again, keyword targeting. If you have your pick, is obviously going to always work better. The audience targeting, if it's refined enough, it'll still be a tool, available for you to generate extra profit for your brand. In either case, the offer was basically, we had a good offer. In the situation where we were targeting people that were new movers or soon to move, if you will, or soon to move, and we're looking at the houses and we're looking for a company on Google recently that does granite countertop installation. Our video and pitch itself wasn't just get 10% off for Valentine's Day for the February promotion that we have, and sending them to a dedicated landing page that has that, which generally speaking, the dedicated landing page is going to make it better than if you didn't have that. But, like I said, having an ad that's time specific and tied to the time of the year it is, so they know that it's not just 10% off that you have anytime, and just saying limited time offer, which a lot of people don't believe that. We actually also mentioned what we know about that buyer, which is they're soon to be moving, and then put that into our pitch. New mover, promo for new movers. For the month of February, new movers are going to get 10% off of their granite countertops if you're soon to be moving. So that person who sees that video now says, wow, that's perfect. That's great. I want to take advantage of this offer. And that offer being that much more relevant than what it would be if we just said this is a February promotion, actually got, or would get, and always will get, your video campaign to work a little bit better than if you were just had a generic offer on there. So along with the targeting, getting that targeting to be more and more specific, the better your audience targeting campaign would work. The more relevant your ad is to your targeting, taking what you know about who's on your targeting list now and putting that into the ad, you'll get even better response as well. So we did a lot of things to get this 700 to 800% ROI on this campaign. We had to target exactly who we knew was likely to buy at such a high rate that it was worth going after them, but we had to have a custom pitch that sounded like it was urgent and only going to last so long and only good for people that like them, for it to get this kind of return, and use a custom landing page and the whole shebang, and all of it added up to getting the good return. So if you're going to do the audience targeting, basically you're going to have to come heavy with it. You're going to have to have something spectacularly good set up, like I mentioned here. Whereas on the keyword targeting, a generic video could be just that you have already on hand already could be good enough, and you could send them directly to your no landing page, send them directly to your site. In this case, that's not what we did for this particular company, but for a lot of companies, the keyword targeting, targeting the competitors and targeting people that are looking to, how do I buy from somebody in the space and not get ripped off, those type of videos. There is no special landing page, there is no special video. Of course, you'll get more out of it with a special landing page and video, but it's already so good showing up on videos that are on topic to your niche already that you're good already. So anyway, that's an idea of how to do what keyword versus audience targeting and how to make each work. If you don't have a remarkable product, you need a great offer to make things work with your video campaigns, generally speaking. So if you don't have a new technology, or you have something that when people see it is going to blow them away, you generally want to make a custom video that pitch is a promo or you tack on an offer like we did, the 10% off for February or 10% off for new movers like we talked about in this example with the granite countertop installation company, to make sure that video campaign gets you the ROI that's going to make it worth it for you to run that particular campaign. So another thing that, by the way, helps to sum all this up, high ticket offers generally with YouTube ads is the way that you're going to get things to be profitable as well. If you sell a $20 broom with video ads, generally speaking, that's going to be extremely tough no matter how many of the different individual pieces I gave you that makes the ROI better on video campaigns you use. It's still not going to work. Obviously, if you sell a $20 product and the person on average goes on to buy 20 more products in the future and you have a $400 lifetime value from a customer, now you're kind of talking here with this. I would generally speaking, as if I'm not selling something for at least $100 in terms of initial ticket value or lifetime value on that customer between the initial and then all the other purchases they'll make added up, I'm not even going to touch the video ads like this. But you know, remarketing video ads is another story, but to a cold audience, it's going to be like basically too hard to work. And it works exceptionally well if you're talking about 4 or 5 ticket offers, or you know, where the customer's worth 4 or 5 or 6 digits of, you know, $4,000, $10,000, $100,000 worth of value there, and if you can get that prospect. Given, you know, that basically goes back to everything else in terms of online advertising on display ads. The cost of the display ad kind of I mean, it varies market to market, but for the most part, a video view on YouTube is going to be a penny, regardless if you sell a $100 item or $1,000 or $10,000. And of course, your conversion rates are always going to be worse if your price of your product or service is higher. That's always going to be the case as well. But generally speaking, your conversion rate doesn't go down as much as, you know, basically as much as you would think. In essence, you're basically going to have it's going to be easier to be able to generate a high, you know, 500, 600, 800,000% ROI by having something more expensive to sell, given the cost per view is basically the same, whether you sell that item for $100 or it's a $1,000 item you're selling. So if you're selling something cheap, that might hold you back, certainly. Even though if you sell something cheap, like I said, it won't take as many clicks to get a sale, but still, it's going to be damn hard getting a $50 item to work with, you know, YouTube ads. So anyway, that's all I have to share about this. And you know, if you have any questions, leave me a comment below. Consider giving this video a thumbs up for the algorithm. I'd appreciate it, and get the video out there for other people like you that would be helped by it. If you like this video and you want to learn about PPC and have actual actionable advice on how to make money with PPC, Google ads, Facebook ads, coming from somebody who runs an agency with, you know, dozens of clients, who is testing all this stuff out all the time, and learn from somebody who isn't just, you know, speculating, telling you what the buttons mean, but how to actually make money, subscribe to the channel. You'll be an expert at PPC in no time watching the videos on this channel, because I'm giving you the stuff that actually works, as well as telling you the stuff that doesn't work, like I did on this channel as well, the stuff that worked and did not work. So, and you'll be able to stay on top of all the stuff that comes out that way for the most part, without having to waste all your money trying every new thing out and seeing 80% of it not work. So it's best advice on YouTube that I know of in terms of actual actionable advice that you can find, and I do mean that. So I also, by the way, have a blog at guaranteeppc.com/blog, where we give information on how to set up PPC campaigns on that blog, how I personally set up PPC campaigns for our clients to guarantee the results in which we do for clients at our firm. If you want to know on a more detailed basis on how to set up campaigns like this, you can find information, great information there to supplement what we're sharing with you on this channel about the high-level stuff and concepts that work basically with these PPC networks. And so last thing I want to mention, we have a brand new program at our PPC agency where we're offering turnkey PPC campaign templates. And what that is basically, if you want to start up a new business or site or whatever in one market, you can use one of our PPC campaign templates we use for that exact same market. And instead of having to jump through all the hoops to learn how to run PPC campaigns in your market, you can just buy our campaign template that we know what the results basically are that we're getting in that market, and get the exact same templates that we are using already in that market or have in the past used in that market to generate millions of dollars of sales and profit. And know what the profit you can get from those campaigns before you even, basically step into running Google ads or what have you, or Facebook ads, and get the campaign template, the landing pages and all of that go with it, so you can just basically have a turnkey campaign going for yourself, and could be turnkey business considering the campaigns are generally working well enough, at least in plenty of markets, where you could outsource all of the delivery or execution of the work to another party, and because you have a award-winning campaign, have a business that basically only revolves around running that campaign and that site and outsourcing all the work. We've had people that approached us and done that very thing. Started a foundation repair company, outsourced everything to a local partner in the area, kept 5 to 10% of the revenue for themselves. So, and that's why I brought it up on this channel and wanted to make it into an official thing, because literally speaking, to start a new business, that would be the way that I would go. I would just start with a campaign that already was proven from somebody who had it, get what they have, and just, instead of learning all this stuff myself, if I was going into a new market. So, but anyway, we have campaigns in a lot of markets. Maybe we have a campaign already and template landing pages and stuff for your market that we've already gotten the results in that market already, and you could use that. But if you're interested in seeing what markets we have results in and templates you could use for different markets, contact our firm. We can hook you up with that type of thing. So I'll wrap it up with that though. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in my next video where we have another good money-making PPC strategy for you there. Peace.